Hi, Andrew Bell here with you at a beautiful time of the year here on the Gold Coast. We're enjoying some of the most spectacular autumn weather I've seen in a long time. I mentioned in our last eNewsletter that I would update you on our autumn selection auction, where we submitted 39 properties to auction. Well, again, it was another great day with a large crowd, approximately 300 people, of which 107 were registered to bid. Sales have been strong, with 29 properties having sold to date for a total of 26.4 million. Negotiations are continuing on an additional contracts, which will see further sales over the next week or so. Now, this is the fourth consecutive month where we've had sales by the end of auction day at 70% or higher. And of course, the ultimate success rate's now in the high 80% bracket. Now, I'm just back from an Asian trip, taking in China and Singapore. Given that in the last year alone, our company sold about $120 million to the Asian region, and predominantly to China, it's our commitment to our clients to continue to expand our network of operations right throughout the region. And the trip was nothing short of quite extraordinary. The interest in Australia remains strong and is growing. I'll be pleased to report very shortly a significant boost to our operations throughout the Asian region. We currently have 14 wonderful Asian staff who play such a significant role in bringing added strength to the Gold Coast property market through servicing the substantial inquiry we have from our Asian clients. So watch this space. But this week the focus was on what's happening with real estate prices. In Australia, there are 8.4 million residential properties spread across 15,000 suburbs. All of those markets are affected by the national fundamentals that we've been previously discussing. However, throughout all of those markets, there are vastly different components, different housing types, different neighbourhoods, and each are affected in a different way by the different mechanics of the market. For example, regional population growth and dwelling supply can change from one suburb to the next. The national research we talk about simply averages all of them out, and therefore it is possible that statistics presented don't always correlate to any one particular home or suburb. Now, each year about 6% of the total housing stock transacts, according to the Reserve Bank, and therefore it's very difficult to get such a small batch to speak for the value of the whole. Now, it's interesting to note that history has shown that real estate is the greatest hedge against inflation. But you know, house prices that consistently exceed the rate of inflation typically will go through a period of correction, and clearly that's happened in recent years. Now, RP Data Rismark's research shows that home values nationally were down 5.6% from their peak of 2010, but during 2013 were on the rise. It also shows that capital city values fell in 2012 by 0.4%, as opposed to a much larger fall in the previous year of 3.8%. That was a clear sign that the correction period was coming to an end. But 2013 has proved to be a dramatically different year. Reports from RP Data Rismark Home Value Index shows across Australia's 8 capital cities, dwelling values jumped 2.8% over the first 3 months of this year. On an annualised basis, this represents capital gains of 11.3% and is the strongest rolling quarterly rate of house price appreciation since May 2010. No wonder so many researchers are saying that property values throughout Australia will rise by double-digit numbers this year. That is a gentle reminder to buyers not to delay their buying activity, as each month it will cost you more in purchase price. 2 additional detailed research items are of note. The first from RP Data, which shows that over the 3 months to December 12, 13% of homes sold transacted at prices lower than their previous purchase price. But in comparison to that, 31.8% of homes which sold in that same period sold for double their initial purchase price. In dollar terms, $482 million worth of losses on properties that were realised over 3 months compared to $10.2 billion in profit. This clearly shows the vast majority of sellers are making a gross profit on the sale of their home, and it does tell us a little more about the history of real estate. The other report was the analysis of house prices across our 8 capital cities and major regional areas from 1986 through to today. It found on average capital gain of 7% per annum. Of course, there were periods of correction, as we've just been through, but this averaging reminds us that holding real estate for the long term will always produce outstanding results. And 7% tax-free on the family home is a great gain, but it's only achieved by weathering the storm of the downturns and holding for the duration of the upswings. An interesting side bit is that history has also shown that Sydney market leads in a recovery, followed by Melbourne and then the Gold Coast. At present, there's more than enough evidence that Sydney has been through price growth for some months now, and Melbourne is now well and truly on the rise. Now, I'll be keen to see the official figures on the Gold Coast to support my own internal research that shows that the Gold Coast has experienced at least a 5% increase in property values in the first 3 months of this year. But my own intuition tells me that it's closer to 7%. It is not unusual to see a quick pickup in values when a market has been oversold, as I believe the Gold Coast has. Once that kick up is complete, then you start to see more of a plateauing growth to follow, and that's what we're more likely to see through the balance of 2013. Ultimately, property values are very much connected to demand and supply for real estate. And demand, of course, relates to the 5 fundamentals that we've talked about earlier this year, while supply is related to construction levels. We'll have a closer look at the supply and demand equation at our next eNewsletter in a fortnight. So I'll leave you with a final photo which was taken just at sunrise on Anzac Day on the Gold Coast beachfront. That's how superb our weather's been. So until then, happy days and stay safe.